In this video, I'm going to show you how to make a piper or piping. The trick that we use in the making of a piping is this. Here is a material. You can see this material. The first side of this material is not stretchy. If I pull it to each side, it is not stretched. It doesn't stretch at all. This side doesn't stretch. This side does not stretch also. Then, in order for us to be able to make this material to stretch to each of the side, here is the trick. I'm going to hold one part of this material, the tip of the material, and fold it to the second tip here, diagonal. Here is how to do it. You fold it over diagonally as shown, and once I pull each of the tip of this fabric or material, you discover that the material will be stretchy. Can you see? You can see how stretchy it is. You can see how stretchy it is now. So that is the trick that we use in the cutting of a piping or piper. So the next thing I'm going to fold it from the tip, from this tip to the other tip here. Not like this, but like this, and equalize the tip, each tip of the fabric, meaning this place should be equal with this place. Then iron this part as shown. Iron it down. Yes, I have done the ironing already. The length of the piping that I need here is 15 inches long, and here is how to do it. You come to one end of the material here and measure 1 inch wide. Measure 1 inch wide and mark. Then measure it from that point to the other end of the fabric, 15 inches long. Then take the wideness of 1 inch. 1 inch wide, 1 inch wide, and use your ruler to draw it. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to cut out the piping, and here is how to do it. Cut along where you marked as shown. And here is my piping. So I'm going to use iron on the piping, and here is it. The next thing I'm going to do on this my piping, I'm going to use hemming gum on it. Here is how to do the piping. I'm going to fold from here, this part to this part, and leaving like ½ inches for sewing allowance. Even though I don't have hemming gum, there's no problem, but it is better to have hemming gum on your piping. So I'm going to fold it over, and I'll leave ½ inches here for sewing allowance. and I have my piping. So when attaching the piping, this is the allowance that we left here. So this is where you are going to attach to the neck of your senator top or your kaftan. You can see that our piping is stretchy. No matter how round the neck of your shirt is, this piping will fit it perfectly. And that is all for the making of a pipe. Here is our piping, and here is how to attach it. This is the right side of my fabric or your shirt. Here is the right side, and this is the neck of my senator top or the shirt that I'm going to pipe. I'm going to turn to the wrong side of the material and start my piping from there. Here is the wrong side of my senator top. Then I'm going to place this place on my sewing machine, and the 1/2 inches allowance which we added for sewing allowance earlier in the video, and sew it along that place. I'm done with the sewing. I'm going to turn my fabric to the right side and start sewing from on the right side. Here is how to do it. I'm going to turn my piping from the wrong side to the right side of my fabric and sew it. Hope you can see what I'm doing. Here is it, and I will fold it over to the right side. I'm using a contrasting fabric so that you can see what I'm doing on the machine. While you are piping your neck, you should be pulling the piping. You should be pulling it. And make sure they are of the same width. The wideness from the beginning to the end should be the same. And that is the end. The next thing I'm going to do is to cut out the excess fabric that is left behind here. Here is the main fabric and here is the excess piping. I will cut it. I will also do the same thing on the other side. So here is my piping. The next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to my table and iron this piping down. Make sure you spray water on the piping as shown and iron it down to have a perfect piping. Then turn it to the back side and do the same thing. Spray water on it and iron it. And that is all for the piping of neck. This is as a sample. I use this as a sample. Thank you for watching my video. If you've not watched my video on how to make a perfect senator towel from the beginning to the end, check through my video and watch it. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. You can see how perfect the piping is. This is not your regular piping. This is one of the best piping, easiest and simplest. You do this one with ease.